See if Wolford goes back to him. That pass, picked off by Michael Booker. Free room ahead. Michael Booker in for the touchdown.
Welcome back, Husker fans. This is our Blackshirt Alert Show. We thank you for joining us. As you can guess, our special guest of this evening is the one, the only, the Husker legend, the all-century team Blackshirt, Michael Booker. Guys, we kind of had a little bit of technical difficulties. We were unable to get him during our actual podcast, so we recorded that earlier. We're going to play this for you early. We hope that you enjoy it. Guys, it is amazing. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to love it. You're going to want to share it. You're going to want to talk about it. You're going to hear stories that no one else has heard. It's going to get you pumped, I promise you. I was unable to take part in the said interview, but my colleague Greg did a fantastic job. Greg, please, it's all yours, man. It's all yours. Tell him about it.
We got to talk to Michael Booker for about 20 minutes, and it is an awesome interview. I mean, it will get you pumped up, and here it is in its entirety.
And before we started, guys, I just want to say we pride ourselves on saying the things that need to be said. You are going to hear from Michael Booker himself the things that definitely needed to be said.
Okay, first off, thank you so much for coming to our show, Michael. We really appreciate you having here, and we don't want to keep you long. Did you happen to watch that game Saturday, Michael? Did you kind of hear what's going on?
No, I did not. I did not watch the Miami game. Unfortunately, I've been doing a lot of training here lately, so I didn't get to catch that game. And I live in Texas. You know, the last thing you want to do is broadcast the Nebraska game.
Right. Right. Did you happen to see? Did you see that video with Jack Gangwish of the Huskers receiving his Blackshirt jersey? Did you happen to?
I didn't hear you. Say it again.
Okay. There's a video going around the internet where they showed the players getting their Blackshirt jerseys, and I don't know if you had a chance to see that, but a lot of the players were really excited to get their black shirts. Can you kind of tell us what it was like for you to get when you finally got your black shirt and what that meant to you?
Well, the first thing about it is honestly, the first thing about receiving a black shirt is getting out of that yellow jersey.
Uh-huh.
They still have that yellow jersey that they used to have, but that was probably at the top 10. That was probably top 9. One thing about being a black shirt is actually being a part of a group, an elite group of the people that actually earned their right. To get that black shirt means more than actually winning some games at times. And the reason why that is because everybody doesn't get black shirts.
Right.
There's the offense doesn't get black shirts. There's some second team guys that doesn't get a black shirt. And once a black shirt, always a black shirt.
Right. Well, let me ask you.
A black shirt is almost equivalent to becoming from a boy to a man.
To a boy to a man.
On the football field. Right.
Obviously it's a huge deal here in Nebraska, and let me ask you this, Michael. Has it been difficult watching the program kind of struggle this last decade? I mean, the last time we won a conference championship was in '99. I mean, that must be difficult for a black shirt legend like you.
Well, the difficult thing is actually, honestly, it's the fan support.
Mm-hmm.
When you step on the field, you always know that in me being a player, okay, I come from a player's perspective opposed to a fan. Mm-hmm. And I know them guys that step on the field, they're giving 100%.
Yeah.
Of course, I never want to see a person lay down and give up a game. But at the end of the day, these are young boys out there. These are young boys out there chasing their dreams. And Nebraska fans have known to be supportive, win or lose. Unfortunately, Nebraska has been a successful program. And we're always searching for national championships. and things like that. But right now, am I disappointed? No, I'm not disappointed in them boys. I train kids. What I am disappointed in, the fact that the fans aren't standing behind their boys the way they stood behind us. It makes me second guess. Did they love our team because we were winning, or did they enjoy our team because we were just, we were players that came out there and gave 100%? Yeah, I want the guys to win. It's kind of selfish, considering I played on the greatest team that ever touched the turf.
Absolutely.
The greatest college team that ever touched the turf I played on. And playing on that team, two things that I know. We were blessed. We were blessed to have people on that field that were ready to do anything. I'm talking about fights. I'm talking, of course, within the rules. We're ready to bite. We're ready to claw. We're ready to protect each other. And when we step on the field, it has to be a team effort, including the coaches. If we get into a brawl, that's why I was so proud of the Miami game last year.
Yeah.
Man, I was so proud of it. And unfortunately, I didn't get to see it this year. But last year, we actually came out. When I closed my eyes and listened to the hitting, listened to them jumping around, listened to them do all the things, I was thinking of the 1995 team.
Right.
That's how good the team was, how they played last year when we were there. And it was funny that they played so well when we came back for our 1994 national championship. We were in the stands, and they made us so proud. I mean, we was just like, I cannot believe that these guys are jumping around, hitting and smacking people in the mouth. And that's what we do. When we step on the field, we smack people in the mouth. That's a Blackshirt.
Absolutely.
We'll come in there, we smack them in the mouth, we hit them in the gut. Now, when I say that, I'm saying it all within the rules of the game.
Right.
I'm not saying we go in there and cheap shots and things like that. What I'm saying is that we foam from the mouth. We get excited, we jump around, and win or lose. We know that we left everything on that field.
Michael, it kind of feels like that's what the black shirt right now is missing, that aggressive attitude. It kind of feels like that here in Nebraska right now. So, let
me tell you, this is what happens. This is what is happening, okay? The black shirt is being watered down, okay? What they need to do is they need to bring guys back like Christian Peter. They need to bring guys like Grant Wistrom. They need to bring guys like Jamel Williams, Terrell Farley, and start delivering these black shirts and honestly give them a true assessment on whether you need to be a black shirt or not. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that the coaches are giving black shirts out to people that aren't supposed to be black shirts. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is the mentality. If I sit there and I'm giving out a black shirt, I need to know that you're going to run through that wall.
Absolutely.
You're going to run through that wall. You're going to carry two of the opponents with you. You're going to drag them all over the field. As long as possible, and then when you knock them down, you're going to pick them up. Because black shirts, we're mean, aggressive people, but we're respectful, and we love the game.
Yeah. No.
You start talking about black shirts, I start getting crunk.
Yeah, trust me, we respect you. I mean, we love you here at the Black Shirt Alert Show. I mean, and we've always been a huge fan of yours. I mean, when we went out to try to find the best defensive players that we could absolutely get on our show, and the first name that came to us, Mr. Booker. And we are just so grateful for you to even be talking to us. I mean, we really appreciate it, man. Let me ask you this question.
Well, with that, I appreciate that, man. I played hard for the Huskers.
We know you did.
And Nebraska has always been a big supporter of mine and vice versa. I love playing for Nebraska. And it wasn't, and see, here's the sad thing that hurts my feelings at times. I didn't want to play because of any other reason, because it hurts my players, and then I love the support. Mm-hmm. I love the support. So it hurts me sometimes when I read comments on Facebook and I hear people saying things, and I'm just like, this is not the Nebraska that I'm used to. Now, of course, we used to win. We used to do a lot of winning.
Yeah.
I believe that Mike's going to get back.
Well, things are changed. I mean, things have changed a lot. I mean, since you played here, and there's a lot of people are really upset and kind of, they don't know if this thing's heading in the right direction. Let me ask you this, Michael. Are you familiar with Mike Riley? Do you think he's going to be able to move this thing in the right direction? What's your thoughts on the new coach?
Well, I'm gonna say that change is change sucks.
Yeah,
I mean it does. I mean I know a lot of people say change is good and everything like that. Hey, if I could look in the stars and wish for a coach, of course it would be CEO again.
Sure.
We don't have the luxury. We have to support whoever we put on the field. Now, Mike has proved to me that at least he's going to be a coach that wants to win. When I looked at some of the history, I'm going to tell you, and I hate that I'm going to say this, I was shooting for Scott Frost. I don't know why we didn't find a way to give him $3 million to bring him over there so all of us can go and start delivering out the Blackshirts. But that's just me. Or Mike Manor or some other guys that are actually coaching right now, bring some of our own back in and then just let them go. But I'm going to support my coach 100%. Now, this is what I do think. I don't think that we should change the team as much as going. What we need to do is, Nebraska's a hard-nosed football team. We run the ball and we punch it in the mouth. That's it. If we don't, we go get running backs, we go get linemen, and we run the ball.
Mm-hmm. That's what we do.
That's what we do. We're a hard-nosed football team. We're not a finesse. We're not spread them out. We're not anything like that, and we continue to do it until it works.
Michael, let me ask you this. When Coach Riley first came here, there was some talk that he kind of reached out to some of the former players. Has Coach Riley reached out to you at all? Has he?
That's his first problem because he didn't call me.
As he said,
that's his first problem. He should have gave, and the reason why he should have called me, I'm kind of being facetious a little bit, but the reason why I think that he should have spent time calling me is because even though I played on the team, I've been a good athlete on the team and everything like that, but I'm gonna keep it real with him, and I'm gonna tell him the same thing I told you, and I'm gonna say, look, hard-nosed football. Get out there. Your first year is going to be rough. We all know that, but you set a foundation. And with that foundation, it's going to keep growing. You got to build off of it. Of course, you can't come in the first year and win a national championship, but I support him 100%. My rally got my support 100%. I wish he would have called me and asked me what I thought, but of course, they ain't going to do that. I'm not Scott Frost. I'm not Tommy Frazier, things like that, but
we need to get you in that locker room. I think we need to get you in there talking to these boys. I mean, we really need that fire back. It's my opinion anyway.
And I'm going to tell you what I believe.
Please.
I think this, and it's going to suck, and I hope that it doesn't come back and bite me in the tail, okay?
Go ahead.
I believe what Nebraska has failed to do is bring back the old players. Mm-hmm. The old players that are coaching that's been through the program, they need to bring them back. If there's a coach out there that used to coach, they need to bring that coach back. And why? It's because just like football is all about tradition. Football is about camaraderie, jumping around. What are we fighting for now? I mean, if I came back, which I have no dream or aspiration of being a coach. Mm-hmm. They work too hard, they do too much, and what I am is I'm an athletic trainer. I train sports training, stuff like that, fitness training, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I have no desire to be a coach, but I do have a desire to see some of our guys come back and get in that position of coaching. I know that there's a couple guys that want to do it or want to be involved in it, and that's just tradition. Man, do you know how hard it is for them to talk about Scott Frost as the head coach? No, I'm not even saying head coach, because Mike Riley is my man. The last thing I want to do is be coming to the stadium. You don't let me in. That's my man. My man, 50 grand. But there needs to be. I mean, what would you? I mean, who thinks that if we had this great team, the greatest team that ever stepped on college turf? There's got to be one guy that we could put somewhere around there, and just ram with the truth. Now, if I went back and I did speak about the Blackshirts, they're going to fight that day. When they get on that game, they're going to fight. They're going to get in a fight. Now, the only reason I say that is because we're going to jump around, we're going to smack people in the mouth, we're going to pick them up, pat them on the booty, and say it's going to be like that all day.
Michael, you're getting me all jacked up here, man. We have got to get you back to Lincoln.
And when I come back, I'm gonna be back. I'm coming back for the. I'll be back October 23rd for the 20th reunion for the national champs 1995 national championship. So I'll be back. But go ahead.
Any chance we could get you on live there while you're back for a few minutes?
Man, I'm coming back. I'm coming. Yes. The answer to your question is yes.
Okay.
But I'm gonna be geeked all weekend. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm coming back there. I'm gonna put on my black shirt. I'm bringing my old jersey back. I'm taking it off the wall of my facility. I'm putting my number 20 on, and I'm gonna sneak on the field. But you don't know it's me because I'm gonna play linebacker. I ain't fast enough to play cornerback.
Right on.
I'm gonna jump around. You'll be like, "That's T. Farley." She said, "That's Terrell Farley." Now that's Michael. That's the 40-year-old Michael Booker out there.
Oh man. Hey, listen, Michael. We don't want to keep you too long tonight. Let me just ask you a question. This is a little off topic, but we've had a couple of people. We've told some people that you're coming on our podcast, and they wanted us to ask you this question, and we hope we're not out of line asking this, but recently on ESPN they've been doing a little bit talking about Lawrence Phillips. Do you still keep in touch with him? And, what was it like having him as a teammate?
Well, I'm going to tell you what. I was just watching this ESPN special about Lawrence Phillips. And there's so much people don't know about Lawrence.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say so much. But there's some things that people don't know about Lawrence. Lawrence is probably the meanest, ruthless person in the world. Mm-hmm. But on the flip side, he could be the nicest and the kindest cat. It's almost like bipolar. Mm-hmm. And I think the biggest problem with him that happened in his situation was he never reached, even though people tried to help him, he never reached out and grabbed and received the help. I watched people help him. Matter of fact, I was his roommate. Our freshman year, I was his roommate.
Oh, wow.
And I was his roommate for 3 days. Mm-hmm. We got in a fight on the third day, and I said I cannot play with you because we were both from Cali talking trash, mm-hmm. and he said something, I said something, and we fighting. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, yeah, this guy right there. But then he's the main guy. He's the guy that if I need something, hey, LP. He's the first one at the door. Like, look, Mike, I got to take care. This is what I can do for you. The guy had more problems. The guy had so many problems growing up that he just carried them with him.
Yeah.
And I think other coaches did an exceptional job of actually trying to keep him, functional as long as possible. I think Lawrence Phillips is just, I feel sad for him, but he's where he needs to be.
Yeah.
I would not. He's actually. The guy I'm not. One thing that I am is I'm a person that what you do the time, you do the crime.
Right. Sure.
And once you get in there, hey, it's too late to say sorry now. You got a lot of chances. But
so you haven't talked. You haven't talked to LP since college days.
Man, the last time I talked to LP was not when I played for Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he came up there and he was talking about hanging out. I said, man, you know what? I'm not about to hang out with you. Mm-hmm. See, yeah.
Just too risky.
Yeah, it's too. Yeah, he had a bullseye on his head.
Yeah. Michael, listen, we love having you on. Just tell us real quick about your workout session. This sounds kind of interesting. Tell us just a little bit what you're up to these days.
Yeah, and I'm changing athletes' lives. I'm taking athletes. I'm dealing with a couple programs right now. We're trying to reach out to the athletes that might not be Nebraska guys, might not be Division I, and we're taking them. We're not only to promote them as athletes, but also collegiate athletes too. Mm-hmm. We know that there's a lot. Go ahead.
No, I'm listening. Please, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Okay.
No.
Oh, that's fine. There's a lot of guys out here being overlooked just because scouts and everything are coming out and they're looking at their athleticism. But we got a lot of guys we're helping a lot of guys get into college. Maybe not D1, but other colleges. Just with the grades. We're pushing grades. Mm-hmm. We're pushing academics. One thing what I do is I do personal training. I actually own my business. My business is IT fitness. Integrated total body fitness. We are out of Grand Prairie, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I've been actually doing it for about 3 years now. I love personal training. I love fitness. But also I would be doing the world a great injustice if I didn't help mold some of these athletes. And hopefully in 2016, 17, maybe I can get one of these athletes over at the University of Nebraska.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But that's what I do, man. What I do is I develop athletes in a nutshell, and it's just not their athleticism; it's also their academics.
That's awesome, Michael. Well, listen, we've already kept you for 20 minutes. I don't want to keep you too long. Ladies and gentlemen, Husker, Blackshirt, all-century team legend, Michael Booker. Sir, thank you for letting us have a chance to talk to you. And
it was my pleasure. Go Big Red.
Go Big Red. Hey, thanks a lot, Michael.
Greg, I don't know about you, man. Listen to that. I got so pumped up, crunked up, jacked up, ready to run through a brick wall, dude. Michael, thank you so much. If you're listening, that was awesome. You said the things that needed to be said. We thank you so, so much. Greg, you did a fantastic job. Guys, enjoy the rest of the podcast. What is up, Husker fans, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Blackshirt Alert Show. I am your host, TK, and I am joined by one of my good friends and colleagues, Greg. Greg, say hello, please.
Hello, everybody.
So, Greg, we are off to a 1-2 start. How does that make you feel?
I'm pissed, and Trav, TK, I got every right to be.
It certainly is a difficult time right now. I don't think any of us kind of envisioned a 1-2 start, especially in the Mike Riley era. What exactly? What's going on, man?
Something happened in Miami, and I hate to say I'm at a loss for words because we're running a podcast here, but I am almost at a loss for words. That was a game that should have been won, could have been won. It should have never went to overtime. It was a mess, Trav.
It was. My whole issue is we came out and we were flat, man. We did not show any passion.
Zero.
We showed no enthusiasm. It didn't even look like they wanted to be in that game.
I saw passion in the fourth quarter, but it looked like Miami had kind of already. It looked like Miami was.
They took a break. They thought that they had it in the bag.
They thought they had it in the bag, so it looked like they kind of let off the throttle a little bit, and
they did. They did,
and that's why I think we got back. That's how we got back into this game.
All right. My whole issue, my man, is the way that we started that game. They instantly targeted Daniel Davey. They just went right for him, just like we saw BYU, just like we saw South Alabama. They just targeted him, and he could not stop it, man. And then to top that off, we get is it Fultz back, punting again, and he's supposed to be a good kicker, and he had two very bad punts that just gave Miami such great field position. And when you back the defense into a corner like that, it was no wonder that we got down so quickly.
Yeah, and it was painful to watch. It was just painful to watch. I hate watching us when we just play with no heart. And it looked like they didn't come to win that game. It didn't look like it to me anyway. I don't know. They looked really flat. I haven't seen them that flat in a long time.
Maybe it was the heat. Maybe it was the humidity. I don't know.
Well, and you know what? I'll tell you, last week's episode, you said, Daniel Davey needs to step up.
He does, and he did, and he didn't do it.
Didn't do it. Am I wrong? I think the coach actually pulled him in the game. Did he?
Yeah, they did. They did. Yeah. They put in Rose to replace him, and once they did that, they didn't really have an answer. We started to, receivers were getting covered. We were getting decent pass rush, not a great one. Our pass rush has to improve. That is one. And I'm telling you, dude, Freedom Akamadadidada, whatever his name is, he's a baller, man. He's been coming to play these last few days or weeks, and if he keeps improving, we have we're going to have such a good defensive line in the future that I'm really excited for that. But we need more depth. And I thought the linebackers played well, but now we're thin again because Michael Rose-Ivy's out for this week, maybe longer. In fact, I think I heard that he's out for 4 weeks.
I heard 3 weeks.
Josh Banderas is probably going to miss this week. So, we are thin once again at linebacker. And we've got to build depth moving forward.
Absolutely. Trav, I hate to I don't want to change gears on you, but
you want to talk about the mishap today?
We had a little mishap today.
All right.
And I just want to get to it, get it out of the way, and then we're going to get right back to the show.
Fellas, we promised you a major Husker legend to join us on the show today. And that promise can still come to fruition. Greg, do you mind if I just spoil who it is?
Get it out there.
Michael Booker, the defensive MVP for the 1996 Fiesta Bowl, was going to join us today. We just missed him. He's currently in a training session. If he contacts us before, we're going to try to get him on the show, get some interviews, and get some questions that you guys have asked him as well. So if we don't get him today, I promise you, we will get him on at a later time, maybe next week, but it'll definitely be hopefully sometime soon, if not today.
Absolutely, Trav. And if we have to, we might do 2 podcasts this week. We might do a special podcast with just Booker on it. So,
may not be as long, but it'll be something that the fans cannot miss.
So if he doesn't come tonight, he's coming.
And I'll tell you what, guys. Since you now know who it is, if there's any more questions that you would like to ask, please leave them. Yeah, send them on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, you name it, and we will try to get as many questions asked as possible. We don't want to take up too much of his time because he's doing us a huge favor, but he's coming, guys. He is coming. We will get him on the show, and there's going to be more Huskers coming in the coming weeks, so just get ready.
We're talking to a couple other big Huskers, and they want to come on. So we got other greats coming. What I do want to say this real quick, Trav. We're checking all of our social media real aggressively. So if you send us a message anywhere, we're going to get it and we're going to respond to you. So send us those messages, guys.
And Greg, before we do anything else, I just want to say this. I know it hurts, guys. 1 and 2, it's never fun. And we did come out flat in that last game, but damn it, I'm so proud of the way that those guys fought back. I know Miami took their foot off, but that's no excuse. If you win, you win, but if you lose, you lose. And we did lose, but you got to be proud of the way that they fought back. And, Tommy Armstrong, as I said last week, he's got to show me that he can make smart decisions and play at an elite level on the road. And he did 50% of that. And I'm really impressed with where he's progressing. He's a much better quarterback than he was a year ago. But still, we're getting snagged by poor decisions. That first interception that was thrown, I believe the intended receiver was Alonzo Moore or Stanley Morgan Jr. It was one of the two. And it was just a miscommunication. That was actually on Tommy Armstrong. And then, of course, the one in overtime. Just 2 huge mistakes. But, he's improving, guys. And that's what we need to see.
TK, can I jump in?
Absolutely, please.
Okay. Listen, we're not here to call people out. Okay?
Nope.
We're not here to get in any arguments with people, but I have to call out something I heard on the radio this week. I was listening to some of the guys on the radio up there in Lincoln. And
Right.
I heard a quote, and I want you to tell me what you think about this. I heard on the radio say that Tommy Armstrong is a, quote, elite level quarterback. TK, I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing a good quarterback.
He's a good quarterback. He is definitely not elite. And I'll tell you why I say that. Tommy Armstrong is probably the best quarterback we've had. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, what? How can you say that? He's the best quarterback we've had since Jamal Lord. And a lot of people give Jamal Lord a lot of flack.
They do.
And rightfully so. But Jamal Lord was still a very good quarterback. He wasn't elite, but neither is Tommy Armstrong. And Tommy is our best quarterback since Jamal Lord. And, I mean, guys, that's a decade now. We're over a decade past Jamal Lord.
Yep.
And this is our first good quarterback. And that, I mean, Joe Gans, you know, he was a solid quarterback, but he wasn't good.
Give Martinez a break.
Martinez was good, but he wasn't good enough. Like, Tommy Armstrong is a better quarterback than Taylor Martinez was.
I find it, to me, it's kind of comical that people actually thought, and you know, on the podcast, TK, we say, our motto is we're saying the things that need to be said.
Yes.
And I just got to say this. I find it comical that some Husker fans thought that we were going to win a national championship with Taylor Martinez as the quarterback. I don't know why we're talking about Taylor Martinez, but I just want to throw that out there.
Well, let's.
And you know what?
Nothing against Taylor Martinez.
He was a great quarterback.
The thing.
Yeah, nothing against him. Great quarterback. We're trying to get him on the show.
I honestly think Martinez would have been utilized a lot better in our option offense.
Yes.
He was not a spread quarterback. He was asked to do things that really didn't match his.
That's it.
His capabilities.
That's it.
And right now, like, I just want to hit on this with Tommy Armstrong. Right now, Tommy, like I said, he's a good quarterback. He's not elite level. He is leaning too much on his athleticism.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And, we saw that athleticism can get you out of tight places. Like the pocket breaks down. He was out, moving around, scrambling, making plays, picking up a few yards. But then, his athleticism also gets him in trouble.
It looks like
you cannot take a 22-yard sack. You cannot do that.
Yeah. It looks like a lot of his throws are really he's off balance, off center on some of his throws. Mm-hmm. But that's just because that line hasn't gave him enough time. I can't put that all on Tommy.
It's not all on him, and that is part of it. But even when he does have time, he still doesn't quite plant his feet. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he's got the arm strength where he doesn't need to plant his feet. And you hear, Mike Riley say that. You hear the announcer say that. Like, he's got so much arm strength, which suits his last name, Armstrong, that he doesn't need to plant his feet to really sling the ball downfield. But he just made a poor calculated decision on that last interception that just killed us. And I mean, I'm telling you, man, if we would have scored in overtime, like if we would have got that touchdown, we win that game.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to say what coulda, shoulda, would have, but a win is a win. And right now we are 1-2, and that is not good. It's got to change, and I think it can. I think we're moving in the right direction. But it's like I tell anyone, I may be mad at a 1-point win, but it's a win.
Trev, I got it. Go ahead, sir.
If we get 14, 15 wins by 1 point in a row, I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is losing that many games by 1 point. And let me just say this, Greg, before you jump in.
Go ahead.
In 2012, Northwestern used the excuse we were just 5 plays away from being 10-2, but instead we were 5-7. Nebraska doesn't do that, okay? And it really irks me to hear people say that, hey, we're just 2 plays away from being 3-0. A win's a win, a loss is a loss. And I urge all Husker fans, do not take that mindset. Because when you take that mindset, you take what's great about Nebraska and you put it away. You throw it all away. We do not do that. We do not act like that. We are very prideful. And if someone beats us, we should just accept that. But do not take the moral victory and say we're just a couple plays away from being a certain record. It should never be like that here, Greg.
Right, absolutely. Totally agree. Can I have to say something, Trav.
Please.
And we talked about this earlier in the week. I wasn't certain. And you sounded more certain than I was, but I did hear this, and I haven't went back and watched to see if this is true or not. But I heard on that first play of overtime that Westerkamp wasn't on the field. Mm-hmm. Now I know you said he thought he was. I don't think he was, and if that's the case, that's a serious problem because in that situation, he absolutely needs to be on the field. And for some reason, that's bugging me. It's bothered me all week, and that's a coaching problem.
It is a problem if your best playmaker as far as catching the ball is not on the field. That is a problem. Westerkamp has probably the best hands in college football. I mean, the guy catches everything that's thrown at him.
Yep.
And if he wasn't on the field, I agree, it is a tragedy. But here's the thing. If Tommy Armstrong just puts a little bit more air underneath that ball, it's a touchdown.
Yep.
And this is where I mean, like, he just had a misjudge in his strength. Like, he didn't calculate better. If he would have calculated better, he would have put a little bit more air underneath it and flipped it right to the guy. But it wasn't our night, dude. We didn't deserve to win that game.
I think he said he didn't see that guy there. So
even so, it was a heartening loss. I think we can all agree that. I mean, as soon as that interception was thrown, I said every word in the book. I admit it. Like, I'm so passionate, and and then to see Alex Lewis get that personal foul, just what was he thinking?
Trav, should they take his? He's a captain. Should they take that away from him?
Honestly, I would have taken it away from him. Not really for that, but at the way that he called out an entire fan base.
That was tough to read. And
like you play football for Nebraska. You're a scholarship player. You have a free education. You do not do that because a lot of Nebraska fans would not do what the certain poster did, which is basically antagonize him.
Yeah.
He wanted to get a rise. Any fan that blatantly goes to social media to call out a player, that's disrespectful. These are still young kids, young men. They don't need to put up with that kind of shit. I mean, if I may.
You think what kind of reception is he going to get Saturday? You think they're gonna boo him? We're gonna kill him with kindness, or?
No. He'll be fine. I'm glad that he's playing. I'm glad he didn't get suspended. I can understand where he's coming from. He's a passionate kid. He's in the heat of the moment. Made a bad mistake. I mean, we've all been there, Greg. We've all made mistakes.
We've all been there, and we've all been in the heat of the moment and done something stupid. We didn't do it on national television.
Exactly. And, this is just where kids are privileged and cursed at the same time. We see everything that they do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a sad deal. He shouldn't have done what he did, but at the same time, shame on the Husker fan that called him out like they did.
What about some of those some of those hits that there was 2 of them in particular?
Oh, the leading with the helmet?
Yeah, I mean, the only word I can use to describe that is thuggish. That's awful.
It's so dangerous and
disgusting.
The way that the way Riley took that hit and just bounced up and just, I was so freaking proud of that kid.
Yeah.
That was the guy led with the helmet. That's the first thing that hit, and it was such a loud pop. I mean, you heard it right over the broadcast. And, I mean, you could tell he was hurting, man. You could tell he was hurting.
Absolutely. He was trying to get up, but I don't think he made it only a few yards, and he fell back down.
But I'm glad the way that he took the hit. I'm glad that he held on to the ball. I mean, that kid, in my opinion, that was a play of the game. Just because the kid showed so much heart.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bad play on their part, but such a great play by Riley.
And what about that interception that bounced off the?
Oh, dude, it's like comedy. It's like a comedy of errors. Like we can't catch a break.
Yeah.
Greg, before we move on, I just want to say this one last thing.
You got it,
guys. The penalties have to change. We had 12 penalties that game. 12. Enough's enough. It's the same story, different year. I know that these are both Pelini players and they're used to committing this many penalties, but wow, 12 penalties.
Brutal.
I think, last week we only had 6. The week before that we had 10. We really got to work on just playing fundamentally sound football. That's what killed us a lot during that last game as well. Just as much as the turnovers, just as much as the mental errors. So, what do we have to talk about, Greg? What's on our agenda?
All right. Well, for quarter one, we were just going to kind of talk about our 1-2 start, which I think we've covered pretty well.
Yep.
And then for the second quarter, we wanted to talk about the Miami game. I think we've done a pretty good job of covering that.
Correct.
So, are you ready to jump right into the third quarter?
Let's do it, man.
Where do we go from here? And
we have to go ahead.
I was just going to say, I have a little something that I think might ease the pain.
What is that? You got to share it with me, dude, because I'm hurting a little bit too.
I have some good news for everybody.
Please, let's hear it.
We have a player that everybody has forgotten about, and he's almost ready to come back. I heard he was at practice this week.
Lay it on us, man. Lay it on us. We need some good news, baby.
DeMornay Pearson L.
My man.
He's coming back. Okay, this guy's a game changer.
When do we get him, Greg? When do we get him?
I don't know. Have you heard it?
I've heard he's doing well.
I've heard he's doing well. I heard he was at practice this week doing some running around and stuff. I don't know if he's full pads. I don't know what's going on, but guys,
we need him.
With him in the game.
With him, we win both those games.
We're a 3-0 team.
We are. Okay. And I mean, I know I said you can't look back and be like Northwest and say we're a couple plays away. It's a little different when arguably your best offensive player is not on the field. And we have not had that playmaker on offense that every defender has to watch out for. And let me tell you something. When DeMornay Pearson comes back and he's on that field, defensive coordinators are going to want to know exactly where he's at on that field at all times.
Some of those kick returns that Westerkamp, had a pretty good run at, I think DeMornay could have maybe taken him all the way.
Oh, yeah. Here's the thing. We do not have the players to run the jet sweep like Mike Riley wants. I mean, we run it, but as far as to the effectiveness that he would like, we don't have the players. But we do have a player on our roster that can run that because he can fly. I mean, DeMornay Pearson is fast, guys. He was a track champion down in Florida, so he's got speed to burn. We get him back, we can start running that jet sweep. We're going to be seeing a lot of plays go a long ways.
Okay, Trav. So we've talked about DeMornay.
Mm-hmm.
He is the answer to a lot of our problems.
He's going to be the answer to our prayers.
But we still have other issues. Trav, where do we go from here?
Here's the thing, guys. This season is not going to go as good as we hoped. I mean, we're already 2 losses, and we haven't even reached conference play. The schedule's only going to get tougher. Where do we go from here? And it pains me to say this, but I think we're looking at about a 5-win season. I think we're going to go about 5, or I think we're going to have about 5 losses. I think we're looking at a 7-5 season, and it's neither good nor bad. But I think it's something that we can build on, especially coming, into a new system on both offense and defense. Players that are not built to run this new offense and defense. I think it's going to get better. I think we're going to have some more growing pains. This is just the calm before the storm. But I think we're going to find a rhythm. And, Greg, I know this is only going to be game number 4.
Yeah.
And I know that this game that I'm going to be talking about is down the road. But I'm going to call it right here, right now. You guys can look back. And I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for it. I predict we are going to beat Michigan State.
Oh.
I do. I think we're going to win one huge game that no one's given us a shot to win. And that is the game. And I think we're going to play playoff spoiler. I really do.
Well, that's great. If you go back and look at Mike Riley's record at Oregon State, he's
good. He's good for a knockoff.
He is.
I think that's one reason why Sean Eichhorst kind of levitated toward Mike Riley, thinking, hey, we get Mike Riley, give him all these resources. He's got a decent record against these top elite teams when people sleep on him. And I think people are going to sleep on us, Greg, and we're going to win a big game this year. I want people to remember this podcast, episode number 2. Come back, call me out if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I'm taking a blind shot in the dark, but I think we're going to win a big game, and I think it's going to be against Michigan State.
I need you to be right.
I need us to be right.
Are we going to beat Wisconsin?
Ooh.
I don't like that answer.
They got our number, man.
I know they do.
They got our number. I don't know what it is.
Being in Lincoln helps us. I'll just throw that out there.
It does help. And if anything, it just won't be a blowout. It'll be like last time where we fight them real close. But you get them away from Lincoln, dude, and it's ugly. It gets ugly fast. And I want to say this. I want to see us compete in every single game. I do not want to see a blowout. I'm tired of blowouts. Greg, you have to be with me on this one. I know you're tired of blowouts.
Blowout is the worst way to lose. The worst way. You spend the whole week waiting for the game.
And, this is why I'm so happy with Daniel Davey. Even though he got targeted against BYU, even though he got embarrassed by South Alabama and embarrassed by Miami, he never quits. And, this team kind of has a no-quit attitude right now, and I love it. It's painful when they're not up to par. It's painful when they're not playing with high energy and low passion. But when they click, they're on, man. They are on. So where we go from here, I think it's going to be an okay season. I don't think it's a season that any of us wanted or expected. I expected better, but I think we're going to be okay. And, we got to give Mike Riley time. But like I said, we don't need to give this guy as much time as we did Bo Pelini. We don't need to give him as much time as we did Bill Callahan. We give this guy 3 years to show us something. He's got to show us something. We're restless. We need to win, and we need to win soon. So that's where I think we go from here.
He has every resource, every tool, everything in the world you could ask for to be successful. There's really no excuses.
No more excuses. We got to start winning.
Trav, I'm looking at the schedule here. Let me ask you a question about it. Let's say we get past Southern Miss this weekend. I think we're going to.
Yep, I think we will.
Let's say then after that we play Illinois. Okay, in Illinois, let's say we get past that. Okay,
and we should.
Here's the problem. I don't like looking at a schedule, seeing Illinois, and thinking, "Oh, I think we're going to get past that." That's a given. That should be a given every year.
I think it's going to be a given. I really do.
Okay, this is what I wanted to get to, Trev. We play Wisconsin, we play at Minnesota, and then we play Northwestern.
It's a tough stretch of games.
Is there a chance that we could come out of that 0-3?
Yes.
Ooh.
That's kind of where my prediction for 7-5 comes in, dude.
Yeah. This could be a really, really tough year, huh?
It could be, but like I said, there is good to take from this season, even already. You know, like the players are responding well to Mike Riley.
I agree.
The players are performing better than I think any of us thought that they would in our circumstances. Like, we just haven't had a complete game where we put it all together. Like, I mean, Greg, you've seen our offense, man. When we're clicking. We're moving the ball at will.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how good that other team is. Like, Miami, they got a lot of talent. When we were clicking, we were moving the ball at will. We just have to click. We have to show passion. We have to show enthusiasm. We have to show energy. You need high energy, just balls to the walls, aggression, and you got to click, and you just got to go for it. You got to lay it all out there.
They need the Peter brother mentality. Just
absolutely. In fact, guys, we're going to do something really special with the Peter brothers. We may not get them on the show. We're hoping to.
We're trying.
We're gonna have a little something special coming down the road regarding the Peter brothers. So stay tuned for that.
Trav,
Greg,
go ahead.
Let's move into the fourth quarter, man.
All right, fourth quarter time. This is what I got for you. We have Southern Mississippi up. You want to talk about it?
I do not know a whole lot about Southern Miss.
Well, let me tell you this. They lost their first game to Mississippi State, 34-16. And then they beat, I'm here looking up. They beat a team called Austin P.
Yeah, let's just not worried about the FCS.
The Austin P Governors, okay?
All right.
And then it looks like they beat Texas State Bobcats. Okay. 56-50. Yeah, it looks like they might be I can't say just by looking at the schedule. They put some points on the board. I don't know.
Right.
I don't think they're going to know what hit them when they see the Blackshirt defense, but we are kind of wounded. So
we are a little bit wounded, but we have way more talent than Southern Miss could ever hope to have. Like, that's the reality. And anything can happen on any given Saturday, okay? We know this. Like, we've seen, Division II teams, otherwise known as the FCS, come in and beat, good ranked teams. I mean, look, we've already talked in the past, me and you, about this. Look what happened to the Wolverines when they faced Appalachian State. And they were number 5 in the nation, and they lost. So anything can happen, but it takes a lot for the stars to align to allow that to happen, and it's not going to happen today. Like, Southern Miss, like I said, I don't know a lot about them. I know that they have a decent offense. But they should not be any match for us, and this is going to be a blowout. And it could be a worse blowout than what we saw against South Alabama. South Alabama was a better team than Southern Miss.
Yeah.
I can tell you what I would like to see against this Southern Miss game.
Yeah, tell us.
I want to see consistent pass rush. It's something that we haven't had through 3 games. It's been decent, but it hasn't been consistent. I want to see our defensive tackles just take over the game. Like, Mentally Colt, or not Mental League Call, Mental League Collins. He's got to start taking over games. Like against Miami, he had a few games where you're just like, wow, that guy's a beast. But they're few and far between. We need to see more of him just stepping up and being that dominant player in the middle. We did really good at stopping the run against Miami. They had a couple good runs, but for the most part, we held them to little to no yards. In fact, I think they only averaged about 3 or 4 yards a game, which is not good, but it's better than what we've done in the past, especially under Bo. I want to see our secondary just have a breakout game. I want to see all our defensive backs just defend the pass. I want to see good coverage. I want the 50-50 balls to go in our favor this time. That's a key I want to see. And most importantly, Mike Riley, if you are listening, and I hope you are, please start running the ball. You got to run the ball. This is Nebraska. This is not Oregon State. We cannot win running the ball or passing the ball. We are a run-based team. It's our bread and butter. You got to run the ball. We didn't really start running the ball against Miami until it was too late.
Mm-hmm.
And we were moving the ball, running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we just started passing the ball all around the field. You can't do that. You can't do it. Every time we've attempted to pass the ball for more than 40 yards, especially with Tommy Armstrong, we've lost.
Trev, I have a question here from one of our listeners.
All right.
We were going to ask Michael Booker this, but it looks like he is still in his workout session, so we're going to probably have to hold off on the Michael Booker interview until it works for him.
Okay.
But so I'm just going to ask you this question, Trev.
All right.
This comes from our listener, John, and he wants to know, is Nebraska going to be able to defend the pass rush against Southern Miss? Question 1. Question 2, Southern Miss had a great game against Mississippi State and put big numbers on the board in both games. What does Coach Baker do to get penetration from the defensive line? You want to address that, Trap?
So the question is, defend the pass, and how do we get pass rush?
That's it.
We defend the pass by getting a pass rush. That's how it works. And we need to be more consistent. How you do that is, if you have to blitz, you blitz. You should never have to really blitz in a game. I mean, that's just my thoughts. You should always be comfortable with just rushing your 4 down linemen. But if that doesn't work, you got to blitz. And that's how you get the pass rush. And if you can do that effectively, you will defend the pass. And you got to win the 50-50 balls. We haven't done that at all this year. And a 50-50 ball is basically where they just take a shot, down the field, and your corner's running stride for stride. The guy's covered. It's just, the receiver just makes a good play, the quarterback just makes a good throw. They're not open. They're just making good plays. We've got to win those balls. We got to get some deflects. We got to win the 50-50 balls. If we do that, we'll be all right.
You don't think we're going to have any problems? No problems.
We should not have any hiccups against Southern Miss. We shouldn't. I know it sounds a little cocky, if you will, but it's Southern Miss, guys. And the mindset that I have is we are Nebraska, and a team like this should just be thankful that they're going to be on the same field as us.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is the mindset that we had in the 90s. I think it's time that the fans bring that attitude back. And maybe if the fans bring this attitude back, the players will get it, and the players will have that same attitude, and it'll elevate their game to another level that's, quite frankly, better than what it is right now.
Can I get a score prediction?
I'm going to say 58-17 us.
Okay, that's good. I'm thinking 40-10. Big game.
Big game, and here's the thing: the Blackshirts, they're not bad. They're not bad, guys. They're not a bad unit. We have a good defense. It's just we're still figuring out how to utilize what we have. I think Banker's done a pretty good job. He hasn't done great. The defense hasn't played great, but it is a good, solid defense. There's a lot
of positives.
A lot of, you look at the Miami game, guys, our defense was in a hole a lot.
Yep.
And they fought their way out of it. They were inside the 10, and they forced a couple field goals. That just doesn't happen. Like, good defenses, they struggle to do that. And we were able to do that a couple times. So it's a good defense. It's not great, but it's definitely solid. It's improved. It's better than last year's. What we don't have is depth. And, I say this, and I'm going to sound like a broken record. We just need better recruits. We need better players. And we need Mike Riley to go out and get them. And right now, I'm suspect on his recruiting. A
lot of people are really happy about it.
I'm not. I don't see it. I think they're kind of blinded by the press and what local media wants them to believe. They just want to buy him time. That's all. That's what this is.
I think they're kind of blinded by Mike Riley's Twitter account, because he always goes on Twitter, touting the where he's been and stuff. And
that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
We need a coach that will interact with the fan base. We didn't have that. We haven't had that for a while. But the bottom line is we just need better players. Mike Riley has to go out and he has to target the top players in the nation. If you want to beat South, or if you want to beat the teams from the South, I'm talking about Alabama, I'm talking about LSU, I'm talking about Florida State. If you want to beat, the good top teams like Oregon, Ohio State, you have to get top players. You have to. Because those teams, guys, those teams are going out. And they're not just, yes, Florida State can just stay home and recruit all their players, but they don't do that. They've gotten a few top players from California. Same with Ohio State. They don't necessarily have to go out of state. Ohio's a hotbed for talent, but they still go out of state to get top players. You have to target the top players because our competition's getting the top players. So if you don't go out and get the top players, it's going to be hard to beat those teams. And that's what we need. Mike Riley, I hope you know what you're doing, man, but you got to go out and get those top players. You're a hell of a coach. You've impressed me the last 3 games. Even regardless of our record, I'm impressed, but you still got to get those top players, man.
This is what if Mike Riley's listening, I hope he is. I think he is. Wink, wink. What I need, this is the advice I give him. I want him to go make a list of every player that Nebraska has put in the NFL for the last 30 years. Because I'll tell you what, when you come playing for Nebraska, you have a shot. You have a shot here. And we put people in the NFL. There's no doubt about it. We put quality people in the NFL.
We do. Here's the thing, Greg. You will hear some people say recruiting doesn't matter. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
Ndamukong Suh was the top defensive tackle by ESPN. He was, I think, the second best defensive tackle by Rivals. And he was the top defensive tackle in the nation, at Nebraska. Levante David was one of the top JUCO linebackers. He was one of the top linebackers, coming out of Nebraska, going into the NFL, and he's having an outstanding NFL career.
Just signed a huge contract. Recruiting matters, guys. And Nebraska, regardless of what anyone will tell you, recruited with the best of them in the 90s. We had the number 1 class in 96 with the number 1 recruit who was from Texas. People were busting our doors down to play for us.
They were.
Mm-hmm.
So recruiting does matter, guys. I know we don't want to believe that, but it is. And, Bill Callahan, he had top classes. And, look what Bo did pretty good with those recruits. We were very talented. He was a new coach, so he, made some questionable decisions, but it does matter. And I think if Riley had Bill Callahan recruits, I think we'd be in for a very good next few years, I'll tell you that. But that's not the reality right now.
Yeah, that's not the reality.
And I really appreciate you guys joining us. It's always fun hosting the Blackshirt Alert Show. Please contact us, guys. We want to hear from you. We are huge, passionate Husker fans. We want more huge, passionate Husker fans to join us. So let's get this thing going. And Greg, do you have anything that you'd like to tell our listeners?
Thanks for listening, and just stay tuned. We're talking to a bunch of Huskers, and they're wanting to come on the show. So we appreciate the support and keep giving us the questions. And thanks for listening.
Go Big Red, guys. Let's beat Southern Miss.